Basically, just select parts of your journey that aligns with your mission and your values. If you know what your mission is and your values, then that's where you will align everything. Welcome to the Creative on the Grind podcast. It's your girl DeAndra, and I'm back with another episode. Hey guys, how are you guys doing? I'm super excited for today's episode, and I feel like it's like a key component that you need in order to build a successful business. So today's topic is sharing your story and building trust with your audience and clients. Personally, this topic can get a little touchy because it does require vulnerability, but let's get real, that's where all the magic happens. So with sharing your story, personally, I've been sharing my story since 2011 when I started out doing hair. And when I was a hairstylist, I would share and document my journey through cosmetology school and working as a retail manager at Angle at Universal Studios. And then I ended up doing hair for years. And then I transitioned into doing event planning and wedding planning. And then I transitioned into like floral design, and I did a few weddings, and then I started a balloon business. So I have a long story, but I've been sharing my story for a long time. So I have people who've been following me since the beginning of time, and they support everything I do because they just love who I am, and I just share all aspects of myself when it comes to my soul mission, and that's just growing into who I'm supposed to be. So now that I'm transitioning from Party Shop Avenue to this online coaching platform, it's something that's totally different. So it's a totally new journey, and I'm sharing this journey with you guys too because I'm learning so many new things. Yes, I have all of the knowledge and experience, but it's still a learning curve for me, and I'm also balancing the old with the new. So it's taken me a little longer than most business coaches to get up and running, but it's like with most, they're just doing a course and then becoming a coach. I actually have a business that I'm transitioning out of. So it's a little different. Needless to say, one thing that I noticed that helped Party Shop Avenue grow so fast is that I shared everything. I shared when I was making my logos. I was asking my current audience, like, what do you guys think? What do you think about these colors? I shared the entire journey of me building that business from the ground up, and people were so invested and they wanted to support me in every way that they could. So I was getting so many referrals just because people were a part of that journey, and I wasn't scared to share things. Even when I actually started the business and had clients and things would go wrong or things would go right, I would share all of those things on my stories and create a connection. I would also share stories about my clients and how their parties went, and like obviously resharing their post and just being a part of the experience. And I feel like that is what built my business so fast, is being very personable and vulnerable per se, you know? That's just my personality. I'm not an open book, but I do like to share things because it could help someone along their journey. That is how you start to build a connection with your clients, is just by sharing. And I know that, you know, it could be scary to share like elements of your life, but I mean, that's all a part of the process. But you have all of the control of what you want to share and what you don't want to share. So that's the cool part about it. So in this episode, we're going to dive deep into this topic so you guys have a better understanding on how to share your story as you're building and growing your business, and build a connection and community around your business and yourself to grow a successful business. So let's get into it. All right, first, let's talk about why sharing your story is so important. So when it comes to sharing your story, first and foremost, it builds authentic connection between you and whoever's behind the screen or whoever you meet. And it also allows you to show the real you and show different aspects about yourself that people probably didn't know. And a lot of times when I tell people that I started off as a hairstylist, they're like, what? You've done so many things. Like, you were a hairstylist, you're a wedding planner, you're this, you're that. And I just had to try things out to see what I liked. And I did really well in every field that I tried. But I feel like movement is life. You don't have to stay stagnant and be this specific person for the rest of your life. That's what life is about. You can change. We're ever changing people. So do what you want. And the thing is too, that I want you to think about is that you don't have to be perfect. Like, people don't really care about that. They want to see who's behind the business. Who's the personality behind the business? Does this person have a heart? Someone that I can relate to. Maybe I love the Backstreet Boys and someone else loves the Backstreet Boys. We relate on that level. Or I'm an Aries and you're an Aries and we relate on that level. There's so many different elements of your life that people can just relate to you and be like, oh, wow, I like this person and I want to follow them and support their business. You just never know what that is. It's just by you taking inventory of your life and sharing little components of it bit by bit. You don't have to share the whole shebang, okay? And like I said, that's why I have so many people who just relate to me in all elements of my life. Like, I have a lot of hairstylist friends. I have a lot of event planner friends. I have a lot of florist friends. I have a lot of balloon designer friends. I just have a lot of people in general that I know just from different elements of my life and just sharing those things. And that's the cool thing about sharing your story with people. And it also inspires trust and loyalty as well. And when you share your story, it shows the humanized side of your brand. And a lot of people want to buy from humans. They don't want to buy from someone who's just copying, pasting things or copying another brand and just mocking what they're saying and doing word for word. Like, they want to know why they should buy from you. Like, what makes you so special? And we're all special. We all have something within us that is special. So don't be afraid to share that part of you and stop being scared and hiding behind the screen, not knowing what to share and intimidated and feeling like someone's going to hate on you or judge you. Like, it's going to happen, but who cares? I mean, I get people commenting on some of my videos, like even on YouTube, that just say the most ridiculous things. And I'm just like, okay, like, that's all on you. It's not my problem. That's a you problem. But trust is the foundation of long-term relationships. And that's why I have so many relationships, is just because I've built trust and I've been able to just follow up and share little elements about myself throughout this entire process. And it also sets you apart. You want to find that it factor and that differentiation to set you apart. And by sharing little components and stories about your life can do that, because no one has the same story as you. No one has gone through the same challenges as you or same obstacles. Yeah, we have similar stories, but we all have our own journey, our own story that we could share. And personally, that's even like within this new business venture that I'm starting with my membership and helping creatives build their businesses, is that I actually did it. I actually had and still do have a business that has been successful for the past 7.5 years, consistently generating over 100,000 in revenue, serving upwards to 200 clients a year. Like, the business has been businessing. Okay. So here's a little secret. I am launching a membership. I'm super excited. It's being built right now. So if you want to get on the waiting list, I will have them in the show notes. And if you're on YouTube, they will be in the description box. It's just a link so you can get on the waiting list for when the membership drops. Trust me, this is going to be one of the best memberships that you've ever been a part of. I'm super excited. Like, it's been a long time coming. So make sure you sign up for the waiting list. And I've just used some simple strategies to help me get to where I want to go. And I remember when I was starting my business, I had to do it all alone. I didn't have a community. I didn't have any resources. I didn't have anything. So I was so scared all the time of taking the next step. Whereas if I did have a community and resources, I probably would have gotten to my destination much faster. But I feel like God did give me that journey so that I can understand it and process it. And now I'm using it for the better good and using that story, okay, because it's a story, to help others. So we all have this journey for a reason. We all step into different facets of our lives to get to where we're going. And that's why I'm creating the Creative on the Grind membership and community, because it's needed. I feel like we need, as creatives, a space to actually learn and how to evolve our unique skills and talents. We're different from your regular entrepreneur. We aren't running our businesses like they are. we have a creative skill, creative talent, and you have to showcase it a little differently in order to be seen, in order to be noticed. And it's so cool because when we're designing or painting or speaking or whatever you do, it's all coming from within. And that's different than most, because most businesses, they have like a product that is just highly manufactured, which is great. It's cool. They can put their soul behind it as well. But when I go physically out there into the world and design something that can never be designed again or duplicated, it's a different feeling. And it came from within, and it came from my own hands and my own mind and willpower to be able to create something like this. So I feel like it's different. And personally, when I do go out and design for my clients, they're just so invested and they're so in awe and want to know my story. Every time I go to an installation and I'm done, or midpoint, they see me building it and getting everything together, they always ask me, how did you get started doing this? And that in itself is why I'm telling you, they want to build a connection with me. They want to understand how I created this fascinating idea and created a business around it. And I always tell them, I was a wedding planner and I loved events. I did floral design and I decided to pick up balloons one day, and this is what came out of it. And they're just like, wow, you're so young. Like, this is awesome. And they're just so proud of me. Like, they barely meet me that day. Obviously, we've been connecting through email and everything, but they meet me that day and they just feel connected. And I build this relationship with my clients as well. And it keeps them coming back for more. I've been able to work with clients from their engagement to their wedding, their baby shower, their first, second, and third, fourth, fifth child. Like, I've seen it all, just because, in being in business 7 years, you can see someone grow. And I've seen children grow. I've seen families grow. And it's been such a cool journey. And I don't think anything compares to that. And in saying that, having a story that I can always share with people, it's like I have a story that's on the ready, because I know that my client's going to ask me that question, like, how'd you get started and all those things. So I always have a story ready so that they can connect with me, and then they're fascinated and boom, we're connected. We have a little secret bond. So I want you to think of those elements and compile a story for yourself so that you can share your story as you're progressing and growing into who you're becoming. So let's talk about how to share your story without oversharing, because you don't have to share it all. We are not out here spilling all the tea, everything that's going on with us. People don't need to know all that. And I feel like that's the problem with the world right now, is people are just oversharing things that it's like, I think I would have been good not knowing that. Like, you could have just kept that to yourself and the world would have been. But anyway, you want to be able to pick and choose what you want to share. So when I was saying compile all your stories, take out your phone, open the note app, and start writing down your journey, even your journey before you start your business. Jot down some things that you've accomplished, some things that you've gone through, some obstacles that you have overcome. People want to know the back end of you. So when you can sit down and take a moment to figure out key elements of your story, then you can break it down, and then into like little reels and stories, you can share those components. And again, you're in control of how much you want to share. I've shared all of the highs and my lows of my entrepreneurial journey, not just on my Instagram and YouTube, but also obviously on this podcast. I've shared a lot with you guys already. And that's how we are building a connection, and you guys are seeing your stories within mine. And that's kind of just how it happens. That's how we connect. Basically, just select parts of your journey that aligns with your mission and your values. If you know what your mission is and your values, then that's where you will align everything. And anything outside of that, you don't have to share. So let's say if you don't want to share aspects about your family or your relationship and you want to keep that on the back burner, do that. Some people don't want to share their kids. That's fine. That's off the record. You pick what you want to share, and you don't even let anybody tell you what you should and should not be doing, because I feel like a lot of people online feel like they have this entitlement that they can tell people what they should and should not be doing, what they should be and should not be saying. And it's like, bro, you have your own platform. So how about you go do that over there? So another thing is you have to show emotion and vulnerability in order to connect with your clients and audience. People want to see the process and not just the results. For example, one of my biggest YouTube videos right now is my 0 to 100K video. And I just share like openly how I got started and how I launched this business. And I'm telling you, like the comment section is insane. It's so much love, so much positivity, and just so much encouragement too. Like people want to obviously see my journey continue, and they see see themselves in me and my story. And it's amazing to see and hearing that feedback. It feels so good, you know? And it just was me one day like, you know what, I'm gonna just share my story raw. I had no script, nothing. And that was one day where I saw the power in connecting and being vulnerable and sharing your story and how impactful it can be, because it really built my email list, it built my business, my following, and it was just by sharing a story. And within that too, you want to keep it relatable and not perfect. Being polished and professional, that's a different story, because I like to be polished. Like that's just who I am. But some days I do want to hop on, and I probably will in the future, just hop on, t-shirt, no makeup, and just talk, because some days I don't even feel like getting ready, and that's another side of me. But I do like to look professional and, you know, put together. That's just been my image since before time. But the words that are coming out of my mouth are relatable, and I always keep it real with you guys. I always keep it real with people in general. That's just who I am. I'm not going to sugarcoat anything. I'm going to keep it real straight. And I've learned to have to ask people, like, do you want me to be direct, or do you want me to just share some words of wisdom? Because when I'm direct, I'm going to give it to you straight, but you're going to understand it. You're going to feel it, and it might hurt a little bit, but it's for the better good of you and your growth. So you just want to find your balance, vulnerability, and professionalism, especially with business. You don't want to go too deep. Like people really don't need to know like your near, dear, deepest, darkest secrets. Like you don't got to tell it all, you know? So don't feel like that. And I feel like a lot of my clients who I've talked to and tell them like, share your story. They're like, well, I don't know what to share. Like, I don't want to tell them about things that are happening with me. And it's like, you don't have to tell them the bad things, all of the bad things, but tell them maybe like your struggles with showing up in front of the camera. Cause I have a lot of clients who are scared to show up and scared to put their face in front of the camera, which I get it. You're being vulnerable and you're opening up an opportunity to be judged. So I get it. But we have to get past that, because we're not going to grow and be the person that we desire to be by staying comfortable. You know me, I'm always going to talk about getting out your comfort zone. By staying comfortable, you ain't going to get nowhere with that. You'll inch your way through. But if you really want to see that success and that supercharged change, you got to get out there. You got to put your face out there. You got to talk. You know, you got to communicate and reel people in to your story and into your business so that you can become successful. All right. So now let's talk about how sharing your story can help your business. When you share your story consistently, it builds a loyal following around you and your brand. People feel like they're a part of your journey and your story, and they want to see you succeed. So engaging with your audience and storytelling is something that helps build that community so fast. I mean, you've seen a lot of these TikTok stars who grow their accounts to like 1 million and like, or grow 42,000 followers in 2 weeks. Like you see these accounts that are doing that. Even that what's her name? Risa Tisa story, like how she was talking about who did she marry? Like that went viral just from her sharing her deepest, darkest secret into the world. And it went viral. And now she's like doing press releases and shows, and like just by sharing her story. Do you get what I'm saying? Like you could become a millionaire just by sharing your story. You just don't even know like the power in it and the community that you're going to build around that key element. Okay. This is why this is important. And so within that, it helps you stand out. Like sharing your unique journey, even the tough parts, makes you more memorable. This is how you go from another business owner to someone people remember and recommend. And you want to be memorable. You don't want to be like just a bystander and someone's like, oh, what's that? No, you want to, I'm now known as like the girl who does balloons or the balloon girl, whatever. People know me for that. And I mean, it's all good because people know what I do. Like, because I've shared my story with multiple people, and every time I meet someone and they ask me what I do, I share my story. I don't share the entire story. That's like I was telling you, compile stories and have stories already curated. So it's like 3-4 sentences. You don't have to share your entire life and how you got there and where, compile your stories and figure it out. But it does make you stand out, and it creates memorability in people's heads. It'll trigger something. So now when people are walking through life and someone's like, I need balloons. Oh, let me call DeAndra, or let me tell them about DeAndra. Or if someone's like now too, like, oh, I'm trying to grow my business, or I'm trying to start a business, let me give you my friend's Instagram or listen to her podcast. Those are things because of my story that are creating that connection. So it really truly does help you stand out. So you want to create that with whatever business that you have. It helps you grow the trust and the sales. Okay. Because that's what we have our businesses for. We need sales. We don't just need a huge following, because following ain't going to pay the bills. Having followers, you don't even need that many followers to really grow a business. And I feel like people think like, oh, I don't have, 10K followers, so like I'm not thriving. And it's like, do you know the power of just having 1,000 followers that are engaged? Because a lot of people have millions of followers, but they're not engaged. And that's where you get it wrong. It's like you have to have the right amount of people in your business. And at the end of the day, people work with and buy from those that they trust. So being genuine and consistent with your story will help you bridge that trust gap. And that's what we all need, is to bridge the gap. And that's why so many people get so many word of mouth recommendations, because someone already worked with this person and they established this trust. So now when they send a referral, they're already going to talk you up. She's reliable. She's on time, XYZ. And then this person's like, okay, well, if you trusted them and I trust you, then I should be able to trust them. I'm gonna go for it. And that's how it works. This part of your business is all about building that trust again, and all just by talking and sharing your story. And it just leads to so many opportunities, so many sales, and so many partnerships. Like there's just so much that you could do with just sharing your story. So I want you guys to take some time to think about how you can share your story and what elements of your story that you want to share, and start doing that. And stop being scared of telling people about yourself. It's like intriguing. So remember, your story is powerful. It's your secret sauce to building trust with your audience and creating a community around your brand. You don't have to be perfect. Just be real and consistent. If today's episode inspired you, I challenge you to share a piece of your story this week, whether on social media, in an email, even a conversation with a client, because I want you to level up, and this is the place to start. And feel free to DM me or tag me, DeAndra Jalisa, or you can use Creative on the Grind. If you share your story, tag me, please. Okay. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you share it with your friends and family. I would truly appreciate it. And hit that follow button if you are not following the podcast already. Also, leave a review if you're enjoying these episodes so I can continue doing what I do. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like, share, and subscribe button. Thanks for tuning in today. And as always, I appreciate you guys being on this journey with me. And until next time, stay creative and stay on the grind. Bye.